Good evening, students. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, in the last session, we were discussing regarding human reproduction. We discussed around 31 to 32 questions, I guess. Today, we are going to continue the questions. And in the next session, we are going to start with the reproductive health and diseases. Okay. So, just a minute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine. So in the male reproductive system, we also have to concentrate on the accessory glands. Accessory glands. Accessory glands means which are not directly involved in the reproduction, indirectly support the reproduction. So we know that the male reproductive system will be having three glands. SPC. How to remember it? SPC, right? So when it will be having three glands. S for seminal vesicle, P for prostate gland, C for Cowper's gland. Seminal vesicle, you should know which gland will secrete which hormone, which gland will secrete which juice, which carbohydrate, that you should be knowing. That is why I showed you this slide. So seminal vesicles, it secrete a alkaline solution. Alkaline solution means what? Not too acidic. It is a basic solution which contains fructose. Fructose is a carbohydrate, right? Ascorbic acid, which is a weak acid, and forms the major part of a semen. So semen is what? It is a fluid, okay, which is secreted by the male during the sexual intercourse. That semen will be having this alkaline secretion. It will be having the sperms also, right? Then when we come to the prostate glands, it secretes a thin milky fluid which helps in sperm motility. So we know that in the humans, male gamete is motile in condition. What do you mean by motile in condition? It has a capacity to move. So to move or to swim, it needs a medium. Okay, it needs a medium. So that medium, that fluid condition will be provided by these prostate gland, and its secretion will be milky fluid in nature, and it also maintains the pH. Next, when we come to the Cowper's gland, the other name of Cowper's gland is bulbourethral glands. It secretes a fluid which lubricates the passage of sperms. Lubricates the passage means the path of a sperm should be very smooth, okay, so that they can swim, they can move very easily. So that path will be lubricated by the secretion of Cowper's gland and bulbourethral glands. This is the function of accessory glands. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ? Is it clear? Do respond in the chat box or through the mic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when you observe this diagram, this is a diagram which is showing mainly as male accessory glands. So here you can see seminal vesicle. Here you can see prostate gland. Here you can see Cowper's or bulbourethral glands. Remember the diagram. Now we will solve some questions related to it. Yeah. So in the last session, we discussed around 32 questions. Okay, fine. From here, we should start. 32nd question completed. So today's first question on human reproduction is, pick the odd one out from each series given below and select the correct option. First, second, third, and fourth are given. So in first, you have to select which is odd one out. In the second, which is odd one out. Like this, you have to select in first, second, third, and fourth, and you have to select the options here. Okay, so let us consider the first one. Scrotum, rete-testis, fallopian tube, vasa deferens. Among this, which is odd one out? Can anyone tell me? Among this first statement, this one question, which is the odd one out?
Fallopian tube.
Fallopian tube.
Fallopian tube, right? So fallopian tube is what? It is a female reproductive part. What are the others? These others represents the male reproductive part. Next one, ovary, uterus, vagina, ejaculatory duct. So which is ejaculatory duct? Very good. Acrosome, Graafian follicle, corpus luteum, cervix.
Acrosome.
Acrosome, because these all are the parts of the ovary. These are Graafian follicle. Then this is a part of a sperm. Next, prostate, testis, seminal vesicle, Cowper's gland.
Testis.
Very good. It is testis. Why? Because prostate, seminal vesicle, Cowper's gland are the accessory gland. Testis is a reproductive organ. So fallopian tube, ejaculatory duct, acrosome, and testis. Option D is a right answer. Good going. Let us proceed to the next question. Yeah. A sectional view of mammary gland. So recall the diagram of a mammary gland. What parts does it show? That is, first one, nipple and areola. Second one, mammary lobes and duct. Third one, ribs. Fourth one, ampulla and lactiferous duct. Which all parts you can see in the sectional view of mammary gland? See to the options below and answer the question. Yes, YouTube students, what is your response on this?
First option, ma'am.
Okay. First, second, third, and fourth anta ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Next, I got a answer from Lubna through the chat box. I request everyone to make use of chat box. You can answer through the chat box. Neha answered it. Okay. So some of you selected option A, some of you selected option B, but the right answer is here, option A. You can see all the parts in the sectional view of the mammary gland. Supriya MS also answered it. Let us proceed to the next question. Yeah. See to the question properly. Number of chromosomes present in spermatogonium is 46, 23, 48, 43. Okay, I got the answer from Neha in the chat box. Lubna also answered it. Supriya MS answered it. Okay. What about others? Anita, Hema Patil, Varshini R, Pavitra, Kirti, Oppo CPH Anta, Kajal Kumari. So do respond in the chat box. Please rename yourself. Some of the names are showing as your mobile names. Fine. So most of you voted for option number A, 46. What do you mean by spermatogonium? It is nothing but a sperm mother cell, or we can say MMC, microspore mother cell. This sperm mother cell will undergo meiotic division, successive meiotic division, and it then forms the sperm with the help of a spermatogenesis by a process called spermatogenesis. So until it undergoes meiotic division, the number of chromosome in spermatogonium will be 46 only. I'm sorry. Option number A, 46 is the right answer. Next question. Which cells come earliest in the sequence of sperm production? See to the option properly. Which will come earliest? Which will come first in the sequence? Spermatozoa, spermatocyte, spermatid, spermatogonia. Recall spermatogenesis and then answer the questions. Okay, Lubna answered it. Fine. Varshini R, Supriya MS, Neha answered it, Kirti answered it. Fine. So most of the votes are for option D, spermatogonia anta ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. Option D is the right answer. Kajal Kumari answered it. So option D is the right answer because it comes earlier. It will undergo mitotic division and then successive meiotic division to produce sperms or spermatozoa. So option D is the right answer. Next question. Which of the following undergoes meiosis 1 division during spermatogenesis? A. Primary spermatocyte. B. Secondary spermatocyte. C. Sertoli cells. D. Leydig cell. Until I read all the options, please don't answer until that. Okay, Supriya, Kirti, Neha, Anita answered to the question as primary spermatocyte. They asked which will undergo first meiotic 1 division. Primary spermatocyte. Okay. So who all are messaging? So just a suggestion for you. When you're messaging or chatting, no, there an option comes message to. So your message should come only to me. So message to Nidhi ma'am anta hodre, your answers will come only to me instead of the group chat. Okay, so that all of you can answer honestly. So most of you voted for primary spermatocyte. Let me check the answer. Exactly, great. Option A, primary spermatocyte, which will undergo meiotic division to produce secondary spermatocytes. Next question, number of chromosome present in secondary spermatocytes is option A, 22, option B, 23, option C, 24, option D, 25. Okay, Lubra, Anita, Varshini, Kirti, Neha answered it. Pavitra, Supriya, MS. Okay, good. So here you can see, in the previous question, we got to know that primary spermatocyte will undergo first meiotic division. First meiotic division means what? It is a reductional division where the number of chromosomes will be converted into exactly half. First meiotic division alli ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ reductional division ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ number of chromosome ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 2n ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು n ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ರೋಮೋಸೋಮ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಮಿಯೋಸಿಸ್ 2 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಇಕ್ವೇಷನಲ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರೋಮೋಸೋಮ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಮಿಯೋಸಿಸ್ 1 ಆಸ್ ದೇ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಸೈಟ್, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ 23 is a right answer. Okay, good. Next question. Which one of the following cells have haploid number of chromosomes? A. Primary spermatocyte. B. Secondary spermatocyte. C. Spermatid. D. Both B and C. The quick answer is given by Lubna. Again, I am telling you everyone, until I read all the options, please don't answer in the chat box. Anita answered it. Varshini R answered it. Okay. Supriya MS answered it. Pavitra answered it. See, most of you voted for option B, secondary spermatocyte. So this shows that you are only focusing on the book, what we can say, bookish language. You are not focusing on the other areas. See here, bookish language ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಸೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ರೋಮೋಸೋಮ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಸಿ ಟು ದ ಸಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್. ಸಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟಿಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟಿಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಸೋವಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಇರುವ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟಿಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟಿಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ರೋಮೋಸೋಮ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿರ್ತವೆ, 23 ಕ್ರೋಮೋಸೋಮ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿರ್ತವೆ. If it is 23 chromosome, is it haploid or diploid? Tell me. If
Haploid.
it is haploid, then secondary spermatocyte will also be having 23. Is it haploid or diploid?
Haploid.
Haploid. Then which is the answer now? Which is the correct answer now?
D.
Option D.
Option D. Both B and C, spermatid as well as secondary spermatocytes, will be having haploid in nature. Good going. So see to the options properly. Board exam ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಂಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಟಕ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಸಿಇಟಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಒಂದ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು 2 ಸಲ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದಾರಲ್ಲ, they got very good marks in the board exam. They stood 12th rank, they stood 9th rank in the state, but in the CET they got less rank. I mean they got less marks, not so much, but ಅವ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೋ, ನಾವೆಷ್ಟು ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವೋ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ರ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬುಕ್ಕಿಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕುತ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. CET ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವೈಡ್ ರೇಂಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಓದ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ವೈಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಸಿ ಟು ದ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಯಾಕಿರಬಹುದು, ಬೇರೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಯಾಕಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕೂಡ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್ ವೈಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಸಿಂಗ್. ಹೌದಾ, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಕೂತ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಓಕೆ. Which cells are the first to contain haploid number of chromosomes? Spermatogenesis ಆಗುವಾಗ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೆಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೆಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಯಾವ ಸೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಗೋನಿಯಂ, ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಸೈಟ್, ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಸೈಟ್, ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟಿಡ್. Yes, tell me. Be fast. Yes, I got 2 responses now. Lubna, Neha answered it. Yes, my dear YouTube students, do answer in the chat box. Neha, Supriya, MS, Varshini R answered it. Kirti answered it. Fine. So most of you are confused as C and D anta. Okay. The right answer is secondary spermatocyte. Okay, let me explain you briefly about spermatogenesis. Then you will understand the question properly. ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ಹೆಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಅನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ ಯಾವುದು ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
seminiferous
tubule, you can see.
Primordial sperm cells, called spermatogonia, lie dormant in the outer compartment of the tubules from the late fetal period until puberty. At puberty, the spermatogonia.
So instead of the video, we will see the flow chart. ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋನ ನಾವು ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ. See here, primordial cell, it will undergo mitotic division. Primordial cell, earlier cell, which is fate, whose fate has been decided to produce the sperm, that is called primordial cell. It will undergo mitotic division and the number of cell increases, the size of the cell increases. When the size of a cell reaches a maximum size, when the size of a cell reaches a maximum level, then it is called as spermatogonia or sperm mother cell, whose ploidy is diploid in condition. This spermatogonia will grow in size again. It will grow in size again by accumulating the food, reserved food material. Okay, then it is called as, when it grow bigger in size, no, that spermatogonia is called as primary spermatocyte. So spermatogonia in the primary spermatocyte ಆಗುವಾಗ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್. This primary spermatocyte which is diploid in condition, this will undergo meiosis 1 and it produce secondary spermatocyte which is haploid in condition. ಈಗ ಹೇಳಿ, which is the first cell to be haploid in the spermatogenesis? ಯಾವುದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಹೆಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ಆಗೋ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಯಾವುದು ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
Secondary spermatocyte.
Secondary spermatocyte. This secondary spermatocyte, what happens? It will be haploid in condition. It will undergo meiosis 2. Meiosis 2 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Similar to the mitosis. Number of cell increases. ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಮಿಯೋಸಿಸ್ 2 ಆಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಏನ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾವೋ, these cells are termed as spermatids. These will undergo physiological and morphological changes. Okay, after undergoing physiological and morphological changes, it is converted into spermatozoa. So when you see this question now, you will answer correctly. Because ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದಿರಾ. So who answered as option C? Okay, it is the first cell to be haploid in condition. So option C is the right answer. ಯಾರು ಡಿ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದಿರಾ, please rectify your answer. Next, see to the diagram properly, my dear students. Find out spermatid and Sertoli cell in the given below diagram, which is spermatid. Spermatid ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ and which is Sertoli cell ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So A, B, C, D, E, F are given. You have to identify D and E and F, A and C, B and E. Spermatid and spermatid and this one Sertoli cell. I got 5 responses. Most all of you answered or voted for option D, B and E anta. Let us check the answer here. Exactly option D, B, which is a spermatid which converts into sperm later. Then E is a Sertoli cell. How to identify Sertoli cell? Biconvex shape. ಈ ತರ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು spherical ಆಗಿ. It will be like this. Okay, so this is regarding the question. Okay, spermiogenesis says, what do you mean by spermiogenesis? Spermato alla spermio. Spermatids transformed into spermatozoa. Spermatozoa transformed into spermatids. Spermatozoa transformed to spermatocytes. Spermatid to secondary spermatocytes. Yes. What is your response on this? What do you mean by spermiogenesis? Neha answered it. Okay. Supriya MS answered it. Lubna, Anita. So the confusion is between option A and option B. So first ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, the first one is a primordial cell. Next one is a primary spermatocytes or spermatogonia. Spermatogonia ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ primary spermatocytes, primary ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ secondary spermatocytes, secondary ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ spermatids, spermatids ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ spermatozoa. So what do you mean by spermiogenesis? Let us check the answer here. The right answer is option A. ತುಂಬಾ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಿ, CET ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೈ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಓಕೆ, see to the options properly. ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ನ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. Spermatids transformed into spermatozoa is called as spermiogenesis. Spermatids ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? These are spherical in nature. ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಸೋವಾ ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದ ಎಕ್ರೋಸೋಮ್, ಟೇಲ್, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಚೇಂಜ್ಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ, ಸ್ಪರ್ಮಿಯೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ ಇಸ್ ಅ ರೈಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. Yes, again, what is the correct sequence of sperm formation? See, many questions we are getting from spermatogenesis. So spermatogenesis ಅನ್ನ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ 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 ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಿದ್ರು ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಟ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಿದ್ದೇ ಬೀಳತ್ತೆ 100%. So what is the correct sequence of sperm formation? Just now I explained you. See to the options: spermatid, spermatocyte, spermatogonia, spermatozoa. Spermatogonia, spermatocyte, spermatozoa, spermatid. Spermatogonia, spermatozoa, spermatocyte, spermatid. Spermatogonia, spermatocyte, spermatid, spermatozoa. Okay, the quick response is from Lubna, Kirti, Supriya, Yamis. Okay, good. What about others? Yes, YouTube students, be fast. Neha, Supriya, answer to the question. So most of you voted for, all of you voted for option D, that is spermatogonia, spermatocyte, spermatid, spermatozoa. Spermatogonia means sperm mother cell, which will undergo meiotic division. So which will grow in size and convert into primary spermatocyte. Primary spermatocyte will undergo meiotic division. It forms secondary spermatocyte. Then from secondary spermatocyte, spermatids are produced. Spermatids will produce a spermatozoa. So option D is a right answer. Good going. Next question. The difference between spermiogenesis. Just now we discussed regarding spermiogenesis, right? So the difference between spermiogenesis and spermiation is, difference in spermiogenesis, spermatozoa from Sertoli cells are released into the cavity of seminiferous tubules, while in spermiation, spermatozoa are formed. Read to the options properly. B. In spermiogenesis, spermatozoa are formed, while in spermiation, spermatids are formed. C. In spermiogenesis, spermatids are formed, while in spermiation, spermatozoa are formed. D. In spermiogenesis, spermatozoa are formed, while in spermiation, spermatozoa are released through seminiferous tubules. So which is the correct definition of spermiogenesis and spermiation? Kirti answered it, Pavitra answered it, Lubna. Supriya MS. Fine. So most of you voted for option A and D. The right answer for this question is option D. Spermiogenesis means what? Formation of spermatozoa from spermatids. Okay, spermiation means what? Release of sperms into the cavity, into the central cavity, a space of the seminiferous tubule. It is called as spermiation, right? So let us proceed to the next question. Spermatogenesis starts at puberty due to significant increase in the secretion of. Spermatogenesis ಮೇಲಲ್ಲಿ puberty stage ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್, oogenesis ಯಾವಾಗ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ? when that female fetus is inside its mother's womb, ಅವಾಗ್ಲೇ oogenesis ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಮೇಲಲ್ಲಿ spermatogenesis will start at the puberty age. ಸೊ ಯಾಕೆ ಸ್ಪರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ? ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ? A is GnRH, B is prolactin, C is testosterone, D is estrogen. Until I complete all the options, please don't respond in the chat box. Anita answered it. Pavitra answered it. Supriya MS, Neha. Varshini, do you have any doubt? Most of you voted for GnRH. Option A, gonadotrophic hormone. It is the, what we can say is, main hormone which initiates spermatogenesis. Next question. Gonadotrophic hormone, a hypothalamic hormone needed in reproduction, acts on which organ anta kelidare. Anterior pituitary gland and stimulates secretion of LH and oxytocin. Anterior pituitary gland and stimulates secretion of LH and FSH. Posterior pituitary gland stimulates secretion of oxytocin and FSH. Posterior pituitary gland stimulates secretion of LH and relaxin. So what is the function of the gonado? I mean, in which organ it is produced and what it stimulates? Kirti, Lubna, Neha, Supriya MS answered to the question. So most of you voted for option B. It is secreted from an anterior pituitary gland. It stimulates the secretion of LH and FSH anta. So let us check the answer here. Option B is the right answer. Next question. Give the name of two hormones A and B in the figure given below. Okay, you have to give the name of the two hormones. FSH acts on Leydig cell, secrete B. What is B? You have to say stimulates spermatogenesis. FSH and GH, LH and androgens, GH and LH, GH and lactin. Lubna answered it. Kirti answered it. Supriya MS. So let us check the answer here. Option B, luteinizing hormone enide, it acts on a Leydig cell, or we can also call it as interstitial cell, which secretes B, that is androgen, and stimulates spermatogenesis. Okay, so option B is the right answer. Next question. Sperms of mammals depend for movement on. Sperms of mammals depend on what? A, only tail. B, tail and middle piece. C, middle piece. D, only head. Sperms of mammals depend for movement on. Varshini R answered it. Supriya MS. Neha, yes, YouTube students. Lubna. So, we got a varied answer. Some of you messaged as option A, some of you messaged as option B, some of you messaged as option C. So, let us check the answer. Sperm of a mammals depend on option B, that is tail and middle piece. Middle piece and tail. It depends on the middle piece and tail. Next question, see to the option properly, diagram properly. Which one of the labeled part utilizes fructose as a source of energy? Which one? I mean, they labeled the diagram. Among this, which one will utilize a fructose as a source of energy? A is head, B is tail, C is acrosome, D is middle piece, which uses fructose as a source of energy. Tell me. Okay, the quick response is given by Lubna, Anita, Varshini. Okay, so most of you voted for option D, few of you voted for option C. So we know that the sperm will use its tail for the movement. So its tail needs more energy. Its tail needs more energy. And in the middle piece of the sperm, the mitochondria will be present, which uses this fructose and release energy. Mitochondria means what? It is the, what we can say is a powerhouse of the
Powerhouse of the cell.
right? So that will use this fructose, and in that the breakdown of fructose will takes place to release energy for the tail. So option D, middle piece, is a right answer. Middle piece. Next question. The reproductive cycle in female primates, such as monkeys, apes, and human being, is called as, what is that reproductive cycle is known as? Very easy question. A is menstrual cycle, B is estrous cycle, C is circadian cycle, D is ovulatory cycle. Neha answered to the question. Varshini R answered it. Anita answered it. Supriya MS Neha. So most of you voted for option A. Exactly right. Option A is the right answer. The first menstruation which begins at puberty. The menstruation which begins at puberty is called as menopause, ovulation, gametogenesis, menarche. Anita answered to the question. Neha answered it. Lubna Yam answered it. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So Kirti answered to the question. Pavitra Varshini answered to the question. So most of you voted for option B, menarche, which is a right answer. Next question. Menstrual flow occurs due to lack of. Due to lack of or due to decrease in which amount causes menstrual flow? A is progesterone, B is follicle stimulating hormone, C is oxytocin, D is vasopressin. Lupna answered to the question. What about others? Let us check the answer. The right answer is option A, progesterone. It is due to lack of progesterone, we will get menstrual flow. In an ideal menstrual cycle, the menstrual phase lasts for how many days it lasts for? 3 to 5 days, 5 to 6 days, 1 to 3 days, 2 to 3 days. Lubna, Supriya, Neha, Pavitra. Yes, YouTube students. Anita. So most of you voted for option A, that is 3 to 5 days anta. Let us check the answer here. Option A is a right answer. Next question. A regular cycling woman. A woman has to cycle regularly. So a regular cycling woman is not menstruating. She is not getting her periods. Which one of the following is the most likely to be the root cause? What might be happen? What might happen to her? Maintenance of hypertrophical endometrial lining, maintenance of high concentration of sex hormones in the bloodstream, regression of well-developed corpus luteum, fertilization of the ovum. Fertilization of the ovum means she became pregnant anta, right? So Lubna, Kirti answered to the question. Anita answered to the question, okay? So all of you voted for option D due to fertilization of ovum, because option D is the right answer, because the regular cycling, a woman used to have a regular cycling, now she is not menstruating at all. So there might be a chance of fertilization of women. Next question. What happens during the follicular phase of menstrual cycle? Follicular phase ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Proliferation of endometrium, reduction in blood supply to endometrium, regression of endometrium, no effect on endometrium. Pavitra, Lubna answered to the question. Varshini R answered it. Kirti answered it. Neha answered to the question. So let us check. Option A, that is proliferation of endometrium. Proliferation of endometrium happens in the follicular phase. Next question. Level of luteinizing hormone is maximum during just before ovulation, just after ovulation, at the time of ovulation, during menstrual bleeding phase. At which level the luteinizing hormone will be will be at its maximum ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Yeah. Recall the phases of menstruation. Follicular phase, ovulatory phase. Pavitra, Lubna answer to the question. Supriya MS answered it. So almost all of you answered it as option B, that is just after ovulation. The luteinizing hormone will be maximum during at the time of ovulation. At the time of ovulation, when the egg will be released in the will be releasing in the fallopian tube, na, that time the luteinizing hormone level will be more. When does ovulation occur in a healthy menstruating female? When the ovulation, not menstruation, ovulation occur in a healthy menstruating female, 9 to 14 days, 14 to 16 days, 16 to 28 days, 20 to 26 days. Neha, Lubna answered to the question. Supriya MS answered it. Yeah. So most of you voted for option B, few of you voted for option A. So option B, that is 14 to 16 days. 14 to 16 days is a normal one. Next, rapid secretion of luteinizing hormone in a ovulatory phase. During ovulation, during release of ova from the ovary, luteinizing hormone will be maximum. So due to increase in the luteinizing hormone, what happens? Rupturing of Graafian follicle, release of ova, ovulation, all of the above. read to the question properly and then answer to the question. Anita, Lubna, Varshini, all of you voted for option A. Rupturing of Graafian follicle. Option D, all of the above happens. That is, luteinizing hormone increases, rupturing of Graafian follicle releases the ova. Once the ova is released, it is called ovulation. So all the options are right due to increase in luteinizing hormone. Next question. Which of the following events is not associated with ovulation of human female? It is not related to the ovulation of human female. Decrease in estradiol, full development of Graafian follicle, release of secondary oocyte, LH surge, which is not the event, which is not associated with ovulation. Lubna answered to the question. Varshini R answered it. Anita answered it. So most of you voted for option D, option A, that is decrease in estradiol, which is the right answer. Next question. No new follicles develop in luteal phase. Luteal phase ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಹೊಸ follicles develop ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Because why? Why it will not develop? Follicles do not remain in the ovary after ovulation. FSH levels are high in the luteal phase. LH levels are high in the luteal phase, both B and C. Varshini answered it. Lubna answered it. Anita, Pavitra answered it. Most of you voted for option D. Some of you voted for option B. The right answer is option A. Follicles do not remain in the ovary after ovulation. Follicles will happen what? It will convert into corpus luteum, right? Then it converts into other one, corpus albicans. Then it start to secretes the estrogen and progesterone. So option A is the right answer. Formation of corpus luteum. So once the Graafian follicle releases ova or an egg, all the other parts of Graafian follicle will be ruptured. So that ruptured Graafian follicle will be converted into corpus luteum. This conversion or the formation of that corpus luteum is activated by LH, estrogen, FSH, progesterone. Lubna, Pavitra answered to the question. So progesterone anta heltidira. The right answer is option A. Corpus luteum form ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ progesterone increase ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. So formation of corpus luteum, ಈಗ Graafian follicle ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು corpus luteum ಆಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಂಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋರು, ಅದನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಯಾವುದು? LH ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಲುಟಿನೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Just a minute. A temporary endocrine gland we know. Which gland acts as a temporary endocrine gland? Pineal gland, corpus cardiacum, corpus luteum, corpus allatum. Tell me. Which gland acts as a temporary? It is not a permanent endocrine gland. It is a temporary endocrine gland. Endocrine gland means what? It releases some hormones. That is called endocrine gland anta, which has certain functions. Anita, Varshini answered to the question. Let us check the answer here. The right answer is option C. Corpus luteum, okay, which will be secreting progesterone. The main function of mammalian corpus luteum. What is the function of corpus luteum? What it produces? A, estrogen only. B. Progesterone only. C. Human chorionic gonadotrophin, that is HCG. D. Relaxin only. Varshini R. Lubna Kirti answered to the question. Anita Shirgami answered it. So option B anta heltidira. Right answer is option B. Next question. Endometrium, epithelial glands and connective tissue of uterus are broken due to what? Lack of estrogen, lack of progesterone, lack of FSH, excess of FSH. Why these parts will break? Varshini answered to the question. Lubna answered it. Neha answered it. So most of you voted for option B, that is lack of progesterone anta. Option B is the right answer. Next question. Capacitation. What do you mean by capacitation? Recall the definition. Occurs in which part capacitation occurs? Rete testis, epididymis, vasa deferens, female reproductive tract. Female reproductive tract. Be fast, be fast. Very good. Option D, female reproductive tract is the right answer. Capacitation means what? The success of a sperm to reach the ova. Okay, here you can see. One minute, I will show. Somewhere it has missed. Okay, no problem. So that is called as capacitation. I think in the fertilization. Yeah. To penetrate through these layers, a sperm has to undergo certain physiological changes. So that physiological change to penetrate into the ova of the female is called as, during fertilization, is called as capacitation. It occurs in the female body itself. Okay. It does not occur in the male reproductive part. So that is called as capacitation. So this is about the questions on human reproduction. In the upcoming session, we are going to discuss CET questions on reproductive health and diseases. Come prepared. Meet you all soon. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Anita, what is your doubt? What is your doubt, Anita? Fine.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್
Yeah.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ವೆಕೇಶನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾವ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್?
ಹಾ, ಸಿಗತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅಮ್ಮ. ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್
Playlist ಇದೆ.
ಇದಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ 3 ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಅದೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಸು ನಿಮ್ದು ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ ಎಸ್ ನೀನ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಲ್ಲ ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ತಾನೆ?
ಹಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಹಾ, ಅದು ಪ್ಲೇ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಆಗಿದ್ಯಾ?
ಹಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಹಾ, ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾನೆಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಪ್ಲೇ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ.
ಹಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಪ್ಲೇ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ ಏಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾವೆ.
ಹಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮು ಅದರ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಿಂಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೇನೆ, ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಹಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು
ಓಕೆ,
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಓಕೆ, ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ನೈಸ್ ಡೇ. ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್.